Greetings, Youngstown. This is Jeremy Bachelor, the Superintendent of the Youngstown City School District. We are back again with another episode of Belly Left Leadership. There's a reminder, this mantra is developed off of, our background in sports with a simple play. And it applies to everything we do in life, though, and especially in leadership and the work that we do as leaders and as individuals trying to make an impact in our school district and in our city. And so that mantra is based off of having a simple game plan, preparing that game plan, practicing and repeating that game plan, and then executing with tenacity and everyone knowing their role and doing their role at a high level. And so we are taking the opportunity to just talk with leaders throughout our school district and throughout our community. And on this episode today, I am honored to have two individuals who I've had the pleasure of working with, and they do a lot of great things here in our city. And so we have our first guest, Chief Carl Davis, the current chief of the Youngstown Police Department, where he was appointed on January 15, 2021. He's a 34-year veteran of the Youngstown Police Department and received numerous meritorious service awards. Davis was also recognized by the American Police Hall of Fame and was awarded the Silver Star of Bravery Award for rescuing a family who were being held at gunpoint by a distraught male on the city's north side. And then we also have Malik Mostella. Officer Mostella has served 23 years in the Youngstown Police Department, and he's the current community liaison for the Youngstown PD and a negotiator for the Mahoning Valley Crisis Response Team. He's also a former school resource officer for Youngstown. In addition, he's a police academy instructor for the Youngstown State University and Kent State University. And I've had the pleasure of working alongside Malik when I was a principal at East High School. So thank you, Chief Davis and Officer Mostella, for being here. It's my pleasure and my honor, and I can't wait to have some conversation with you guys about leadership and the work that you do.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, sir.
So first, we'll start with a little bit about, you guys and the work that you do as law enforcement officials. So tell us how you got into law enforcement. What led you to join the police force and be in law enforcement? And we'll start with Chief Davis.
Okay.
He's the boss.
Yes, sir. And thank you, sir. And that introduction, there are a couple of corrections. Now I have actually in September, I'll be celebrating 38 years with the Youngstown Police Department.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But anyway, what led me to becoming a police officer were some experiences that I had as a young man growing up on the south side of Youngstown. I attended South High School. I'd just like to share a story with you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
As a young man, my brother and a cousin of mine and a couple of friends, back in the day, Hillman Street was known as the Strip, and you would drive around. And, we were teenagers, and I was 17 years old, and we were driving around on the south side, and the car ran out of gas. At Marshall and Edwards, what is now known as where the Star Supply is at. It was probably 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. And we were getting ready there was a gas station a couple of blocks over. We're going to push the car to the gas station. And moments later, we found ourselves surrounded by police officers with guns drawn, who suspected us of trying to break into this warehouse. 17 years old, man, I'm telling you, it scared the life out of me. Guns were drawn. They were threatening to blow our heads off. They checked us out, checked out our IDs. And once they found out that we were okay, offered no apologies, nothing, just, left us there. Didn't even offer to help us to get our car going. Yeah. So anyway, right at that moment, I knew, in order to change this, I would have to probably become a part of it, join the police department and change those types of behaviors. And that was it. That was my motivation. Okay. And I joined the police department probably 8-9 years later after that. Okay. And I've been there ever since. my objective and my goal is to make sure that people, no matter where you're from, are treated with dignity and respect. That is, that's my primary goal. And there have been some challenges along the way, but we're going to keep dealing with it.
Absolutely. That's a great story.
He took my answer. Literally, he took my answer. I honestly believe that when they say it takes a village, well, when something happened at the village didn't run to the next village to ask for protection. The village protected the village. I believe it's our duty to protect our own city. Nobody knows our city the way we do. We know it better than anybody else, and our police force should reflect the citizens of our city. So I'm all for diversity on our department. I'm all for our police department looking like our city, and it should. We really should have more people from inside the city of Youngstown become police officers.
Okay. Well, another thing you guys pointed out, because tell us where you went to school at too.
I went to South. I'm a Warrior.
So another Youngstown City School District alum, by
right.
the way, and 3 Southsiders, by the way.
That's
all
right.
grew up on the South Side.
And I grew up on Warren Avenue.
Warren Avenue.
Warren Avenue, you know. So shout out to the Duckett clan and the Warren Avenue crew and everybody.
My family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, I mean, in your role, obviously, Youngstown Police Department, Youngstown City Schools. So tell us about your relationship with the Youngstown City Schools and any work that you've done with our scholars and families.
Well, as an SRO, I've been involved with the city schools since 2001. So as an SRO, your job primarily is to secure the school, make sure that it's safe for the kids to go to school. But I'm one of those type people, I'm just not going to sit there. So literally I would get involved with the kids, talk to the kids, go into their classrooms, talk to them about what they were doing in class. Some of it just so they could see that we are more than just a uniform, and that they can actually relate to you, which for the kids was like, wow, you're a human being. Yeah, I'm human just like you.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I coach. So that really made it interesting. But you're a cop. You can't coach. Why can't I? So it's always about giving back. So my experiences with inside the schools, inside the buildings, is just that the more they get to know you, the better. Because at that point, after that, then they come and talk to you about stuff, and they learn that they're not the only ones who've been through it or who are going through it. Because a lot of times when our kids are going through things, they believe that it's just them, and it puts them on an island by themselves, and it helps for them to understand that there are people out there who've been through what they've been through and can understand and can help them maneuver whatever it is, whatever the situation is that they're dealing with.
Chief?
Yeah, if I could just reiterate
absolutely.
what Officer Mostella was saying. Last year, Superintendent Malik and I took part in a forum, what was Coco's?
Cocoa and Conversation.
Cocoa and Conversation, where we had teachers, administrators from the school, and students. And matter of fact, this was so powerful to me. When we had that group of students in the room, and we asked how many of you in this group don't trust the police, and I was alarmed by the number of hands that I saw go up, and this is a problem. I'm going, we have to find a way to build trust and establish positive and consistent interactions with these young people. And one of the ways we've approached that a number of ways. One of the ways was through our mentoring program, which Malik is very much involved in and heads that up for us. But I believe that these type of programs foster relationships and mutual respect that we need between the police and the young people. So Malik, if you want to go a little bit further into
I'll
it.
give a shout out to the East High School and Principal Campbell for coming up with Cocoa and Conversation, which brought us to her building to be able to talk to her students and her staff. It's programs like that, how can I put it, that build a relationship between our kids and our officers.
Absolutely.
Because unfortunately, there are times where they're going to run into each other in the public, and our kids need to understand that they can run to a police officer for help instead of running from them out of fear.
Absolutely. I want to thank you guys for that. Obviously everybody knows I used to be the principal at Liason. Ms. Campbell is a dear friend and valued colleague, and the continued legacy and things going on there, and you guys being involved with that school and all of our schools are the things that we try to do. We talk all the time about rigor, relevance, and relationships, and relationships are absolutely key in order for change to happen in any organization, in any city or municipality. So we're thankful for that relationship. So school safety is one of the district's central priorities. I say all the time, yes, I have to educate and we need to improve test scores and all those things. But my number one job is to send students home, scholars home, the same way their parents send them to me. They send me their best every day, and it's our job to keep them safe, take care of those Maslow's needs, and so as well as our staff. So what can our scholars and staff alike do to help ensure that school or the community is a safe environment? What are some things that you guys would recommend?
Well, one of the things I Superintendent, I think is it starts at home. I believe that a lot of this starts at home. For example, we've had several unfortunate incidents where children playing with guns, or have been injured or killed.
Yes, sir.
That's very troubling. We've in the Youngstown Police Department, we've partnered recently with WRTA with a community bus. This community bus has messaging on it. And one of the messages that we're trying to send out to young people: if you see a gun, run, go tell an adult. And actually, I was behind one of the buses the other day, and it just jumps out at you. Every little bit, I believe, helps. So that's one of my main concerns right now is to teach, or maybe even the parents, how to, if you have a weapon in the home, how to secure it. Malik's done some things with the gun safety laws. And I believe that'll be a way to help keep our students safe here in the school. It starts at home. Making sure that we secure weapons if you have a weapon in the home, and then teaching our young people, this is something. I mean, they're curious about these guns, but is just educating them about what could happen. The consequences of playing around.
We've done some things with Ms. Holy and her team, so we can talk a little bit about that. Absolutely.
Well, in honesty, we're kicking off a new program which is being pushed by Captain Simon to deal with gun locks and gun education as well, so that people understand when you buy a weapon, you have a duty to understand what to do with that weapon, how to do it with that weapon, and not just buy it and just shoot it, how to clean it, how to take it apart to be able to clean it. And if you have kids in the home who are old enough, you have a duty to educate them, to take the curiosity out of it. Because most of the time, kids go looking for stuff because they're curious about it.
Absolutely.
And we had one unfortunate circumstance where two young men got to playing with a weapon and one was killed because they thought the weapon was unloaded and it wasn't. And the weapon was actually in the lockbox where it was supposed to be secured and put up. But like the last time we met with some of them, the teachers and everything, we talked about the fact that when you were growing up, did your parents think you knew where the gun was? The answer was no. Did you know where the gun was? Yes, because you went looking for it.
Absolutely.
Because you knew it was in the house. So it's better to educate our kids about the weapons that we keep in our homes than it is to just try to hide it from them, because out of sight, out of mind doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't. All right. Unfortunately, I've been in 26 years now in 3 different states in education. No place like home, but unfortunately, I've had to stand over top of too many of my young people. And it is something that is definitely is part of my mission as well, is to, keep our folks with us. I don't need me educating you if you're not going to be here to be a productive citizen of our society. And so one of my things is, we definitely try to save lives through education. I believe that education is a game changer. It's a powerful tool. And part of our mission is we're actually saving lives if we can truly be educated, but we need partners, and we need to be good partners with the other entities in our community. So hence the reason why you guys are here and the work we've continued to do. So you already talked a little bit about this, but building trust and relationships. I mean, are there any best practices or any things that you guys want to do in the future that maybe we can help with in order to build trust between, your department and the community?
Well, with the mentorship program, we're already starting to do that because when they find out how the program started, who it's run through, like, you guys are involved in this one. Well, yeah, we helped create it. It's a partnership between the city schools and our police department. It was the first program that I created when I became community liaison, from you and I doing stuff together at East.
Yes, sir.
And then there's also the Power of Words program that I do with the juniors and seniors at the high schools to teach them about traffic stops, where they learn what they should do on a traffic stop, what they shouldn't do on a traffic stop, why stuff takes so long, but just as important, what we should do as police officers on that same traffic stop, what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, so that everybody understands each other's role. If you want to build communication, if you want to build respect, it has to start with an educational understanding of what each other do, what each other does. And then it builds from there. So programming, talking to one another, mutual respect, all of those things go hand in hand in order to build that trust. We'll create it first and then build upon it. So by the time that they become adults, you don't have to worry about there being an adversarial relationship between your community and your law enforcement.
Don't forget, do the right thing. So I like to make sure I give credit where credit is due. I mean, do the right thing was something that Officer Mostella brought to me. Actually, I'd been involved with, because it's a national project. I'd been involved with it when I was in Charlotte, but then he brought it, and we reached out and we did some work with the Attorney General, and we're in our second year of the contest, and we had 3 young people go to Washington, D.C. last year. So I want to thank you for staying on top of it, making sure we move towards doing it. You know, we talk about a lot of things, and then things come up or happen and things get dropped. But I appreciate his persistence to make sure we move forward with things that are going to benefit young people. So, Chief, you got anything you want to add there?
No, sir. I would like to continue the relationship and partnership that we have with the schools. Last March, we rolled out a program, and this goes back to, again, in addition to the safety that we were talking about, the speeding in our school zones. In 2021, when I became chief, one of the biggest complaints that I received were cars speeding in the school zones. I reached out to a group in Chattanooga, Tennessee, called Blue Line Solutions. They're traffic enforcement specialists. Met with them, and we eventually rolled out a program with Blue Line Solutions with the traffic speed cameras in the school zones. It proved to be very effective. Our objective and our goal is to get people to slow down in our school systems. I've heard, Superintendent, people say, why are you doing that in Youngstown? Like, our kids are not important. Our kids are just as important as Boardman, Poland, Canfield, and surrounding areas.
Don't get me started. Get me started on
when
that.
you go to these areas and people slow down, why not in young? It was very effective. We ran to a couple of some legal glitches, and we're working on that now, and we hope to have that program up and running again soon. There was a problem with the appeals process.
Right.
Something above my pay grade and something out of my hands, but we're close now to getting some things worked out and have that program up and going again.
But I think the important thing you said is that philosophy and that belief in leaders in our city, which we all are, believing in our city and having high expectations for our city. We can't hide from that, and we have to have high expectations. And I say all the time, I've worked in other districts, including a neighboring suburban district. Our kids in Youngstown deserve the same opportunities and the same high levels of expectations, accountability as anybody else in this city or in this district or in this state or in this country, for that matter. And we all have to be a part of that. So thank you for your leadership in that.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So we talked a lot about law enforcement and the schools and partnership. So, one of my favorite topics is leadership, because leadership is influence. Leadership is a lot of things. And in order for things to happen, there has to be leadership. That doesn't mean a title per se, but we all have leadership responsibilities. But so for you guys in your roles or as leaders, period, whether it be in your organization, in a civic organization, in your church, how do you define leadership? What does leadership mean to you?
For me, actually discuss this with the kids all the time. Leadership is about not about, like you said, about a title. It's about a job being done and people taking on a responsibility to complete that job.
Mhm.
Even though it may not be your responsibility, but if it needs to be done and you know how to do it, you step up to the plate to do the job. To me, that's leadership. It's not about what title you hold. It's not about what station you hold in life. If you want to start getting into fancy words,
Right.
it's literally about this needs done. I know it needs to be done. I'm going to get it done. Leadership is about, I'm trying to look for the exact word that I want to say. For me, leadership is about accountability.
Mhm.
Leadership is about doing what you say you're going to do. And ultimately, in the end, it's about your actions. It's about your actions. If you're going to walk it, if you're going to talk it, you better walk it. So your actions will determine what you truly are. You can say it all day long, but the proof is going to be how you carry yourself and how you carry out what you say you're going to do.
I apologize. My phone kept going off. Things still going on in the district as we
Hey,
record.
sure.
So, Chief, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, just to add what Malik said, sir, I don't shy away from my faith. That's one thing I don't do. Um, uh, I seek God every morning
Sir.
when I hit that police department, and I ask Him to show me how to lead these men and women that work here in the Youngstown Police Department. Um, and like I said, I don't shy away from it.
No,
Never,
sir.
never will. And he's hasn't failed me yet.
There you go.
We've made some great strides in the Youngstown Police Department in terms of even the shootings and the homicides.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and of course those affected by it or have a loved one taken. I get it. You don't see that.
Right. You only see your
But
situation.
that's exactly right. But I believe we're headed in the right direction, and to me, that's what leadership
Mhm.
is about, and to showing people how to love and respect each other. And I think once we get that, I mean, we got a long way to go, but I
Yeah.
believe we can get there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Well, let me ask you: do you guys have any last words? If you were giving advice to the future Chief Davis or the future officer, what advice would you give those young people or folks coming behind you in terms of growing into leadership and community activism?
We just hired 11 new police officers
Yes,
in the
sir.
Youngstown Police Department. Over half of them were 21 and 22-year-olds.
Wow.
These are young people.
Younger than my youngest child.
Yeah, yes, younger than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and one thing I said to them during their interviews, I said, I want each and every one of you to see yourself someday in this position that I am. I want you to see yourselves
Mhm.
as role models.
Yes, sir.
I believe that young people, if they can actually see, if they can see it, then they can achieve it. It may sound cliche,
Hey,
but
that's a good old Jesse Jackson. Nothing
I
wrong with
believe that.
it.
That's right. So that's what I would say to them: to just believe in yourselves and see yourself one day being a leader in the community.
I would tell, what I do tell them is when you set your goals, understand that there are going to be obstacles that get in your way. Don't let them stop you. Understand that there are going to be naysayers. Don't let them stop you. If you believe in what you're trying to achieve, stay with it, see it through, and you'll be able to look back and understand why that journey was such a blessing. And the goal that you set isn't the main part. It's the journey that gets you. It's the journey that defines you. Keep pushing forward. Keep defining yourself, and you'll get to where you want to be.
I love it. And as always, we wrap up and we tie everything back to, and it always works out. I don't have to make anything up.
Right.
The words of the guests always tie back to belly left leadership. Creating a play, running that play, preparing it, repetition, practice, like you said, and understanding where you're trying to go and everybody has a role, and then we all moving in that same direction at a high level to have success. And so, as always, I want to thank my guests for being here. I want to thank Chief Davis for taking the time. Officer Mostella, we talk probably more than Chief Davis and I, which is appropriate. But, I just know that I can pick up the phone and reach out, and we can get connected, and we can get things done if need be. So just to end this episode, we're going to continue to run Belly and keep running it until they stop it. Thank you.
This podcast is the property of Showfit Broadcasting and Youngstown City Schools. Showfit audio and video broadcasting students recorded and produced this episode.